Today we're going to be going over UFC 330, Islam Makhachev versus Ian Gary. We're going to be going through every fight on the card, starting with the early prelim, ending with the main event, and we might as well get right into it. The first prelim opener of Rafael Tobias versus Lucas Fernando. At least I think so if Google's right. But in this fight, I got Rafael Tobias. He's a heavy power puncher on the feet. This is a light heavyweight fight. Lucas Fernando, he's got some good kickboxing at range. He's good at using his teeps and his jabs, but I just see Rafael Tobias landing a big, heavy right hand on his chin and putting him out early, starting off the card with a big bang and a big finish. So, yeah, give me Rafael Tobias in that fight. Next fight up in the card, we have Jeremiah Wells versus Maitai Oralblai. And I got Maitai Oralblai in this fight, obviously. So I see some people taking Jeremiah Wells somehow, even though he's a massive underdog. I do not see a way he wins this fight, especially with Maitai Oralblai's. Jesus, his name is hard to say. Especially with his wrestling advantage in this fight, I don't see a way for Jeremiah Wells to win other than catching him on the feet, which is a super long shot as it is. So give me Maitai Oralblai to win a boring decision by landing like 8 takedowns in this fight. Next fight up in the card, we got Neil Magny versus Ramiz Brahimaj. I'm actually going to take Ramiz Brahimaj in this fight. I know that this is actually a close pick'em fight, and usually you're supposed to go with Neil Magny in those, especially when the other guy's not like a heavy power puncher, like Carlos Prates or like Michael Morales. But Neil Magny, I think he's still going to have some trouble here. He's getting up there in age. Ramiz Brahimaj is a super young man. He has very good grappling, very good jiu-jitsu. And I just see him either clinching. I know that Neil Magny's thing is clinching, but he's getting up there in age, and Ramiz is a very strong dude. I can see him clinching and grappling his way to a decision or even catching a sub at some point in this fight. So give me Ramiz Brahimaj. Next fight up in the card, we got Chidi Njokuani versus Yoel Alvarez. I'm actually going to go with Yoel Alvarez in this fight. He hasn't looked as good as of late at welterweight. He's not smoking dudes like he was at lightweight, like Drakkar Klose, who's a super good lightweight. He's been having more competitive fights at welterweight. But Chidi Njokuani, he has a big frame for welterweight, which I think he's cutting a lot of weight. And Yoel Alvarez obviously coming up with that lighter man skill at lightweight. I think he's just going to be able to dominate this fight in the kickboxing. I don't think Chidi Njokuani's fucking Muay Thai is going to do anything in this fight. I don't know if a KO is going to happen, but I like the double chance here of Yoel Alvarez or decision. So yeah, give me that. Next fight up in the card, we got Dante Johnson versus Eric McConaughey. I'm actually going to go with Dante Johnson in this fight. He's a huge favorite for a reason. He has a bunch of knockout power. Eric McConaughey is just your basic, has a little bit of everything fighter. He doesn't have any pop on the feet, but he has okay stand-up. He has a good pace. He's good at grappling. He's all right. But I just see Dante Johnson landing a massive shot on him in the first round. This could be the fastest finish of the night. Who knows? But yeah, I got Dante Johnson all night here. Next fight up on the card, we got Vicente Luque versus Tresean Gore. I'm actually going to go with Vicente Luque here. I do not understand the betting lines on this fight. Luque is a way better fighter than Tresean Gore in every way possible. I understand that Luque has had some trouble as of late with his brain injury, and he hasn't been fighting the same. But Tresean Gore's record's literally 7-4. He's been getting smoked by dudes that are not very good, and his only wins are these comeback victories or a crazy guillotine on some dude that completely sucks. I think Luque is going to finish him here with ease, especially if it starts turning into a scrap where they're both landing some punches. I can see Luque dropping him in that and then catching a sub or just finishing him with ground and pound. So this is actually my biggest bet of the night. I'm going to go with Luque by just finish, anything, submission, DQ, or knockout. And I think this thing's smacking. I do not see a way for Tresean Gore to win this fight unless he just bombs him out cold, which really has not happened to Luque. The only time he's gotten knocked out was that weird KO to Buckley, and then that's really all I can think of. So yeah, I'm going with Vicente Luque here. Hammer that. I do not see a way that Tresean Gore is winning this. Next fight up in the card, we got Jalen Turner versus Kaue Fernandez. I'm going to go with Jalen Turner here. He's looked very good since his comeback from his retirement. He retired way too early. I think he's under 30 still. I think he's like 29. And his kickboxing is just so good. And I don't see a way for Kaue Fernandez to out kickbox him here. He doesn't really have a grappling game to put on Jalen Turner. And even when he does have grappling put on him, we've seen Jalen Turner deal with Mitush Gamrot. And be able to drop him in between those sequences. So I see Jalen Turner just kind of picking him apart at range with his kicks and having a close but dominant fight here. So give me Jalen Turner by 30-27, maybe 29-28 decision. Next fight up on the card, we got Mansour Abdul Malik versus Dustin Stolfus. I'm going to go with Mansour here. He's got a bunch of KO power on the feet. I know I'm saying that about a lot of these guys, but they put a bunch of these huge African dudes on this card that have a bunch of knockout power. So that's just how a lot of these fights I see going. I could see Dustin Stolfus lasting a little bit more longer than those dudes, though. He is a UFC vet. He has like over 10 fights in the UFC, I think. And I can see him just maybe working his way into the third or second round by being a vet, staying in there, being crafty. But Mansour's just going to run through him here, I think. I think he's going to be able to land his boxing. He has very good output, even with the power he has, and I think he's going to go out there and land hands on Dustin Stoltzfus. So give me Mansour Abdul Malik by KO here. Next fight up in the card, we got Edson Barboza versus Esteban Ribovic. I'm going with Ribovic here. I think everybody is. Edson Barboza is a 42-year-old man who has taken an absurd amount of damage in his career. It's honestly kind of sad that he is still fighting at this point. But I just do not see a path to victory for him unless he just catches Esteban early, like he did Billy Q in a couple fights ago with that knee, even though he was getting pieced up early. Esteban's been KOing dudes like Beneil Dariush on the feet. He's just been sleeping dudes in the first minute. And even when he does get into these long, drawn-out fights, he's able to make it a war, even if he does lose. So I don't see Edson Barboza being able to hang in that type of war fight. And I think Esteban's just going to get his way here of coming out, bull rushing, and getting a quick first-round finish. So I think this is actually going to be a first-round KO for Esteban Ribovic here. So give me that line right there. And yeah, Esteban Ribovic. In the co-main event, we have the strawweight title, Mackenzie Dern versus Jillian Robertson. I'm going to go with Jillian Robertson here. I do not see anybody taking her in this fight, and I do understand why, because she lost the first fight. But she has made massive improvements in her last 5-fight winning streak. She's been finishing girls like she always has. She has a submission record, obviously. But she's been able to actually work her striking in an effective way in her ground and pound, where she's able to tie these girls up into submission in a dominant way instead of catching them while she's losing like it was before. Mackenzie Dern is very dominant with her grappling, and her striking has gotten better. But I think Jillian Robertson's just going to be able to out hustle here in this fight. I think she's going to be hungrier for the title. She's a over 20 fight UFC veteran. She's been in the UFC for over 10 years. I'm kind of a fan of her too, so I just kind of want to see her win. I am kind of picking with my heart here, but I would not bet on this fight. It's a very close fight in my eyes. But I think Jillian Robertson's just going to be able to out-hustle Mackenzie Dern here and win a close decision. 48-47, maybe 49-46. But yeah, I'm going with Jillian Robertson in this fight. In the main event for the welterweight title, we have Islam Makhachev versus Ian Machado Gary. I am not going to go with the crazy pick of Ian Gary here. There's just no way. Islam is going to win. There's no way the vegan power is going to come through for Ian Gary and just make him have knockout power and come out there and sleep Islam. We're just going to see every Islam fight copy and paste it. He's going to go out there and do what he wants. Maybe he'll strike for a little bit in the first round, but the second that he wants to take Ian Gary down, he's going to be able to. I don't care about that Bilal fight with Ian Gary and how good his takedown defense looked there. There's a different level when it comes to these Russians with Khabib and Islam. I know Khabib is a little more dominant, but the way that Islam was taking down JDM and Dustin Poirier, I just don't see Ian Gary with his long, tall frame being able to stop those takedowns in any way. But the way I see this fight going is I see Islam Makhachev just coming out there in the first round, getting his takedown and then camping half guard like he always does. And in the second round, I could see Ian Gary being more scared to engage and actually using his footwork and making it harder for Islam to get that takedown. So maybe we could see an Ian Gary round in 2 and 3, possibly. But I think that if Islam wants to force the takedown, he will get it, even if he has to chase him a little bit and fail some. So I think he's just going to be able to find that takedown every round. And when he does get Ian Gary there, he's not going to be able to get up. I think Ian Gary's going to sit there and try to throw up triangles and arm bars and make all of us pissed off because he's not actually trying to stand up. And he talked to all this bullshit before the fight about how he's ready for his moment, but it's just going to go awful. So I think Islam's going to win a dominant decision and then probably retire after. So give me Islam Makhachev by 50-45, maybe 49-46 decision. But yeah, these are my picks for UFC 330. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, and that's been it. Peace.